You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Good evening, outdoors. We're back at it. It's 2015. I'm Rodney Rogers. This is Rodney Rogers Outdoors. My partner, Coach He's in crime, right there.
Good day, my friend.
Michael the Man Coy. How are you, brother?
I missed the last episode of The Office.
No way.
Yeah,
What is that?
I'm crushed.
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it ended like 4 years ago.
Oh.
I missed the last episode.
I'm thinking we might can find that on
Wow.
some kind of internet something. Just saying.
It just fizzled out. What's wrong with me?
Do they have a last episode? I guess
They did.
do.
You know what? Two of my favorite shows, and not like anyone cares. The Office. I'm going to throw Simpsons in there,
Okay.
and Friends.
Now, Friends, definitely. I'm with you on the
And I
Friends.
missed the finale of that too. Isn't that retarded?
I did. I mean, I got to see the rerun.
I think
of it,
it's
but
like not wanting to say goodbye.
that's what it is.
I'd rather not say goodbye.
Until you see that last episode, it's
Yeah,
your mind is
I've still
going.
got more to watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna
That's
spoiler
it.
here. You don't.
Thanks. They
Just gonna
all
throw that out
die.
there. They're all gone.
That's it though. Yeah, because that way I think
Yeah.
it's still alive. I never had the funeral, so I didn't see
It's not official.
I didn't see Ross and Rachel in the casket actually.
Oh
so,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Well.
But
Doesn't
I
mean nothing.
digress as I usually do. How you doing?
I am awesome, brother. How about yourself?
I'm good. I enjoyed watching all of your activity on the Facebook.
Did you see that?
You've been a busy man.
have been a busy man. I tell you what. I mean, we've had obviously we had our New Year's special. My weekends have just been filled with doing stuff out in the outdoors. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive. I know last year I kind of slacked off on the weekends, but this year it's going to be a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of that, and it might not necessarily be fishing and obviously hunting. It could be.
I don't care what you're doing as long as you're doing.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I got
That's
some
the motto.
really,
Just do.
I got some cool stuff coming up. I'm gonna
That's a catchy slogan.
just do. Does somebody have that?
Just do it. They got do it.
Oh, that's Nike.
Or just do.
We're just do.
Or you be just it.
Maybe not. Yeah, I was gonna say. How about just it? Because if you do just do, well, who knows where that'll go. So I had an awesome weekend, man. We actually basically just trumped off in the bushes. We kind of got on Google Earth, looked at where we were, and said, "Wait a minute,
Did you really?
there's some water there. Can we get to it?" So then we plow through some bushes or bring out the machete, cut a path, drag the canoe in. Some places we didn't have to drag. It was awesome. You can see we slammed the fish. I mean,
You really did.
we-
And you got some really cool photographs. You put some on Facebook, did you
Oh,
not?
yeah. I loaded Facebook
good.
up. Now, obviously, I didn't load Facebook up with everything that we could have.
No, that's cool. But
I mean, this was a general consensus, and one of the cool things is the fish that we were catching were just quality fish.
yeah.
I mean, really good 3 pound plus fish, and not all small.
I like the one that you were holding, kind of making that angry look right into the camera.
Oh yeah. Is it that one or is it
I
the
think
one
it's the
below
other
that?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the one below that.
Yeah.
But you had I tell you what, now not that you're not Rodney, but that Nick's a handsome young man.
He's a handsome young man. Yeah.
Michelle's quite a lucky gal.
Definitely good looking fella there. He was starting to get on me on the. I mean, we had one fish. This is no lie.
Man, that's a good looking fish.
It was that fish.
Did I say Nick was good looking? I meant the fish.
Fish?
The
Okay.
fish is
At
really
first, I
good
thought you said
looking.
Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fish is
My,
definitely
my
good.
bad.
We had this fish. If you could see, like in the background of that picture, in the background where Nick's at, it was a lot of lily pads, cattails, and we're going to talk about some electronics tonight. Basically, what I found was eelgrass. It was about 9 feet deep. Just, I had no idea this pond was capable of what we did here. So I threw my frog out. We were frogging, and I threw my frog out. And
That's a lure, I'm assuming.
yes.
Okay.
There's a lure, topwater lure, and I'm pulling across these lily pads. And after about 12 casts, this fish just starts plow. He hooks on. I fight him for a second. He comes off. Lily pads. I start to reel it again. He comes out another 10 feet, hits it again. So I threw out like 4 or 5 more times, and he hit it again a little bit closer to the boat. And this time I fought him all the way to the boat, and he came off again. Well, Nick was reeling his lure in, and just as he got to the boat, that fish hit his lure right at the boat. So I mean, they were definitely wanting this frog.
I mean, these pictures. I mean, these are some of the better pictures you've taken. They look like magazine covers. It's probably that new iPhone 6 you got, but they look phenomenal. How many fish did you catch?
That day, I think we caught 15.
That's
15,
amazing.
and we missed equally as many as we caught, and even bigger. You know, obviously the big ones always get away.
You know what? I mean, the more I see photos and I'm around you more than anything, you look at it, you go, "That's a good looking fish."
Yeah,
I would have never used to. Those words never would have come out of my mouth.
and that's why we
But
actually
that's a
take
good
several.
looking fish.
We take several pictures to get that pattern, because when you think bass fishing, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that big mouth. So I try to, do a picture emphasis on how big their mouths are. That's why they're called largemouth. And then I try to turn them where the sun is just right on that pattern,
You nailed it, Rodney.
and we get to see that pattern on there, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous fish, absolutely gorgeous fish. And there's some fish, the Swanee bass is smaller, but the pattern is more prominent. I mean, it's just amazing.
So mental note. I mean, that the patterns and the fish identification would be a great podcast for us to do.
Let's note that.
I
Definitely.
think it's noted.
Definitely.
I want original copies of these. I want resolution.
I have
full resolution copies.
I have them here. We can airdrop them over.
That, or just do a shared folder between us.
Oh, there you go.
Drop
Let's
them on
do
there, and
that.
I'll snag them because
You
I'll
got
add them to the archive.
Okay, perfect.
But this location, because when I saw you posting these, I'm like, I think you were on it, but I'm like, send me the link where you're at because everybody will love this, but you're gonna hate me because I'm sharing these.
No,
links.
absolutely. And you know what I'm going to do, Mike? I took a picture via Google Maps,
Okay.
and I zoomed in on this lake, and you can see the lily pads, you can see the cattails. So tonight, when you and I get off the air, I want you to help me find an app where I can draw on it.
Oh, cool.
And what I want to do is put like depth here,
Ooh, that's neat.
cattails here, eelgrass here, because we're going to talk about it a
Okay.
little bit. We're
Okay.
going to talk about the electronics and why I used it, and I can relay this information as I use the electronic, that kind of thing. So I think
I love it.
we definitely can use technology to our advantage, and the advantage of everybody listening and watching and wanting to catch these fish as well.
Yeah, I am going to post these. If you go on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors homepage, there's a link right there at the top on the menu bar that says fishing holes. And if you go to that, there it takes you to a Google map where I am in the process of stalking Rodney Rogers. And
His
As you-
every move.
yeah, at every move. And we'll put the links up there. And from this weekend, we'll put them up there. We'll do that tonight too. Photos of you and Nick catching
Oh,
things.
perfect. Yes.
So people can click and see and zoom in. And I'm going to nail these to the T, exactly where you put them.
Beautiful.
If you
Beautiful.
want to do depths and sawgrass and seesaws and everything else.
We're going to try to be back there this weekend, right where your cursor
Play
is.
Linda?
Yep.
Oh, no, Placid.
Placid.
Different. Sorry.
Back down to Boca Grande. We're going to try to be back out there this Sunday. We're going to see if we can't get that depth finder out there. But that was our weekend, man.
Very cool.
We got to see some really cool stuff. We picked up some more decorations for our booth this weekend.
Oh, did you really?
Kickoff, yeah.
Well, so I guess we can talk about that now.
Yep.
It's not exactly that time of the show, but who cares?
Yeah. Basically, we're going to be at the chili cook-off this weekend.
The Crime Line 104.1.
Yeah,
Did you just blow me a kiss?
I did. This is for you. It's
I
for,
looked up, and that was very sweet of you.
we're,
Rodney.
we're getting texts and highs, and I'm just saying hey to everybody.
You're a social conglomerate.
Well, Darien, I'm just saying hi. So anyway, so we're going to be doing the chili cook-off. So basically, I did try a gator white chili.
This time you tried one. It didn't turn out
I
so
made
well?
it. Yes,
Okay.
I made a small with white beans. Basically, tried a white chili with
Right.
a gator, and some frog legs.
Interesting.
Yeah, it
Protein.
was interesting.
A Protein mess, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't. It was not bad, but it's just not chili. Yeah, not chili. And I did it two ways. I kind of separated it with chili powder seasoning and then Cajun seasoning. And it's just not. If you're going to go gumbo style, that's probably the right route. But
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
So what are you doing? Did you decide which way you're headed?
We're just going to go venison chili.
Okay,
Yeah,
venison chili.
yeah, we're
okay.
just going to go venison chili. It's just getting really close to the mark. I've only known this about this for a year,
Yeah,
and I always squeeze
it's
it in
time.
the last
It's
minute.
time. Well, you got 3 days. So, but this is the Crime Line 104.1 annual chili cook-off, and
Chili
it
cook-off.
happens up in Sanford at the Harley Davidson dealership.
Seminole deal, yeah, Seminole Harley.
Seminole.
Um,
Seminole Harley.
Yeah, and we're just gonna have fun.
What time does it start?
It starts, I think, at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Now we get set up at 7. We start setting up at 7
Because
a.m.
you got to cook the chili. You
yeah,
cook it there,
'cause
right?
We got to, yeah, we
Or
got
at least heat it up or whatever.
yeah, at least get it heating.
Yeah.
We get the chili heating and then get our booth set up and all that good stuff.
It's actually a good time. There's different vendors, and I mean, obviously everybody's set up with the chilies, but you got the Harley Davidson shop to go in and look, and they're serving beverages and food. And
They
stuff,
do
and
a motorcycle competition for the police departments out back. It's just very intense. How they don't wreck those bikes, I know if it was me doing it.
but yeah, if you're out and about, definitely come say hey to Rodney and
Yeah,
104.1 gang.
definitely
and,
come by and see our booth. I mean,
who's who of chili cook-offs is going to be there, I suppose.
yep. Steve with Porky's Barbecue will be sitting.
good.
Yeah, he. We were talking. He's going, so we're gonna try to get beside each other again.
Oh, cool.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Basically, it's just a time for us to fraternize and hang out and say hi to everybody.
I want you to take that banner tonight too. How do we not forget? I'm looking up there, but I
I
don't
see
know.
you looking around. You're like,
I think it's up there, but I want
Okay.
to put that in your hands just
Yeah,
in case we can't
just in
connect on
case-
Sunday
yeah,
or
in case you
Saturday.
get shipped out. So that's
Deported, you mean?
deported, and that's
Yep.
what we got this weekend.
Yes. One more thing. We're just trying to create some awareness to it. If you go, once again, I don't know how you're watching this,
Yeah,
but if you go to the Rodney Rogers homepage, if you haven't been there, go there.
RodneyRogersOutdoors.com.
Quite easily to remember. But there, right on the homepage, there's a place that says live on the air. What's it actually say? It says live, Rodney Rogers live. That's very descriptive. If you click on that, it takes you to the broadcast that we're doing now. There's us. Wow, and there's us too. But there's a what do you call this? A chat window.
Yes, I forgot about our chat window.
So you
yes.
can chitter chat with us live, talk with other people watching the show. It's a great way to ask questions. I'm here.
That's me.
Oh, that was you.
I
Cool.
just did it.
Nice job.
I mean, I look like a little gremlin
Let
there.
me type. I'm here too. So any Moblyites, get out there, get on, do your thing, sign in, guest, log in. I don't care. But anyways, we have it's a great way to, we're monitoring that chat room. You can ask us questions, join in, just chatter all the way along, or call the show. We are live on the air every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that phone number is 262-345-7763. And if you're watching the feed, it's showing up right there on the bottom of the feed.
Awesome.
So
Yeah. Oh, okay. Great. We got it right there. Okay.
you can call us. I took down the Happy Holidays and put the Rodney Rogers Outdoors back on, but that's it. Simple, easy. Call us. What's in the news, Rodney? What's going on? What are you looking for?
I
Pencil,
was looking for
paper?
the phone, so I have our indicator if somebody calls. Did I leave that out
Oh,
there?
no, Rodney.
Oh, no. That's it right there. Hey, that'd be it right there, man.
Yeah, there it is. Are you still on?
No,
Mobley? It
we
should-
lost that one, and we're
great.
I've kind of got us back here.
Oh gosh.
So,
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, so if it
So anyway.
rings, I've got it turned up, so we'll hear. So call us, ringy dingy.
Yeah. So,
The heck is going on here?
so
So
check this out.
check this out.
Check this out in the news. Here's one for you.
I checked it out. Now you check it out.
You check it out. No, you check it out. So this is, let's see here. This guy's deer hunting. Now he's a 72-year-old man. He goes out to shoot with his bow. He's archery hunting, and he shoots a doe. So he sees the doe run off, and he goes back to camp, gets everybody, says, "Listen, we're going to go back out here. We're going to let this thing, go down, and we're going to go back and look for it." So he does, and he's crawling on the ground to kind of look for blood and all this stuff. This doe comes out of the bushes and beats the fire out of it, sends it to the hospital.
No.
Absolutely. Beats the snot out of this guy, hoofed him till he literally passed out. So that was a comeback story, I guess, for
Is
a
that
deer.
what we're looking at now?
That is what we're looking at now. This is the
Well,
story.
You didn't mention the part the guy was 72 years old.
Yep.
There's not some very vibrant 72-year-old people out there.
Yeah, and the stamina of these animals this time of year. I mean, they're relentless, and obviously when you have a wounded deer, archery is the most dangerous time to shoot a deer and then walk up on it. You know what I mean? Because you don't have that second shot from a firearm to put this thing down. You just got a bow, and you got to pull this thing back. It's not an instant kill. I mean, there's just a lot of things can go wrong there, and this is a prime example of one of those things going wrong. So he actually shot it with a crossbow, which reloading this thing on a dime is just definitely not happening. It's just one of those things. Just
Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. I have been there.
really,
Wow, flown in there before. Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
That's way up there.
Wow.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting.
No venison for you.
Nothing for you. You could not make chili out of that one. So, you know what? And if you're listening, deer can live being shot by a bow. We posted a deer that Nicholas shot his first deer this year. The 8-point that he shot, and guess what they found in the hip? They found a broadhead, a razor broadhead.
Really?
Yeah. So this deer healed up. Now it was probably hurting him every time he walked.
Yeah, it probably changes his quality of life.
Yeah, but he seemed to be doing fine. He was last year's. You can tell it was last year's or the year before, for that matter. Could have been a year before. And the broadhead fell out when they were cleaning the deer. And
wow,
that's something else. Somebody swears to this day that they shot a 90-point buck. And little do they know it wasn't that big at all. We know.
Got proof now.
We see it. So there you have it. So that was that. I thought that was kind of interesting. As far as
well, you know what I found?
What you found?
I don't know. I'm gonna find it.
Find it again, Mike.
No. Last week we talked about New Year's resolutions. Leaving me again. We talked about New Year's resolutions, and although it may be too late to make them, I ran across an outdoor site that talked about 5 New Year's resolutions to make now.
Ah, okay.
And the only reason I bring them up, not to talk about resolutions, but some of the ideas I kind of am taking to heart because I thought they were so just spot on. So let me read you a few of them, and I'll tell you the ones that really struck me. Number 1 is read and practice 12 new fishing tricks or tips in the coming year.
Oh, I like it.
Isn't that nice?
That is awesome.
I mean, just improving yourself, expanding. Yeah. It says if it's really pretty simple, if you break it down, just research 1 new fishing trip or tip per month throughout the year.
That, I'm going to elaborate on that for a second. That really hits home because that's what I like doing. Some of the best things about fishing is when you get bored, a lot of us use that same old tactic that we've used for years. But when you do the research and you can actually start, you want to move to the next level. If you're not a crankbait guy or a spinnerbait guy, this is the perfect time to watch a couple videos on YouTube. Heck, just email us at rodney@rodneyrogersoutdoors.com, and I'll make a video of a bait that you want to try. If you say,
I would love that. I think that'd be that's a phenomenal idea.
Send me something. Rodney, here is a bait I want to try. Tell me what you think. Tell me how to fish it. And I promise you, I'll go buy that bait.
And open that up even more. I mean, you could be tips and tricks of, fishing could be, may not even be maybe the rod and reel, maybe in the boat, it may be something where you have something rigged. I'm very much that hack kind of guy. I like using things for other than what they were intended.
Absolutely.
Those kind of things are phenomenal. But if you got anything in the whole array of, your fishing world
and I'm a firm believer in all the little things adds up to success.
Yeah.
Your fishing line, your pole, your reel.
Maybe my tip or my trick is something about the weather. When the clouds, form a question mark in the sky, it means the bass biting is good or something. I don't know, but anything.
Absolutely.
You realize
you're exactly
those are those things in your back pocket that.
Yep.
So I thought that was a phenomenal one.
Hey, great one. Great.
Number 2, I know you'll like, Rodney, resolve to teach a kid to fish.
Having said that, I was going to throw this out on the show tonight, but heck, you're already on it. If you're out there and you're listening and you don't have the resource or the know-how, or you're single mom, single dad, mom and dad that just don't get out and fish, send me an email I really want to make a point to take a kid out fishing that I don't know, with the parents, obviously.
Of course.
Let's do a trip. We'll do a canoe trip or shore trip.
It
Pick
be
a
nice
place.
and simple and basic, and
Absolutely.
yeah, I like that. It says while they learn new fishing and boating skills, and if you teach them to fish, you can also incorporate educational activities or related hobbies like a trip to a local aquarium or a fish hatchery.
Absolutely.
We have a fish hatchery
We
around
do
here.
have a fish hatchery in
Toho
Tampa.
in Tampa.
Yeah, nowhere really close to us. It's the closest one, I believe, is in
What was that thing on the side of Lake Toho? That's not a hatchery. That's a
thing.
Oh, that's a boat ramp. Two totally separate things.
Yeah.
I thought there was some sort of, I don't know. I have to point it out on the map.
Yeah.
Number 3. This one is the one I really liked. And this, pick one fish species you want to learn more about and become a species expert.
Oh,
Isn't that neat?
that is really neat.
And one of the best ways to experience greater success when fishing is to learn as much as you can about fish anatomy and behavior. Understanding more about how and why fish behave the way they do will make you increase your catch rate.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I thought that was brilliant. Just take one species. I like that's what I like to do. I like to find one thing and really drill down into it.
And when you catch that species of something you did the research. Man, how rewarding is
You may
that?
know things that the person next to just, the nostrils or the.
Absolutely.
They have
And
nostrils.
here they give the example of triple tail, which is a great example, especially offshore.
Yeah.
If you see a bucket floating, you see something floating out there, you need to get over it because that triple tail, and not necessarily throwing a shrimp at it. It says right there, crustaceans. It's crabs. If you got a crab on the hook, you throw it out there, you're gonna catch that guy.
I mean, that one alone was worth finding this article for me because
absolutely.
it can be very overwhelming, especially for a newcomer or somebody who's not, spent years doing this like yourself. Just pick one. Just pick one species and dive in.
It's not as overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's
pick the bass.
You hit it right on the head. Absolutely.
Number 4, stop making excuses and fish more often.
Absolutely.
I mean, that one's pretty simple. Team up with a buddy and go fishing, or add 1 or 2 dates to your calendar now. I mean, that is even you and I have found that on both, business and personal.
Absolutely.
If you want it done,
set
your calendar out,
put it on
pick
there.
a date. You know what? If it doesn't work out and it changes, that happens. But it's never going to happen if you go,
let me see how it turns out.
Let's just
and
if you want to do it, pick it. I mean, it's true, right?
And you and I prove that to ourselves
time and time again.
Every time. If we don't calendar it, we're not doing it.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we got in the habit a while. We don't do the lunches like as regular as we used to, but we need to again.
Yeah.
But when we wouldn't leave until we put something on the calendar.
That's exactly right.
Even if it was our next meeting.
That's exactly right.
And we progressed tremendously like that. But putting it on the calendar is key.
Yeah. It got us to a year of shows so far.
Number 5. Yeah, it absolutely did. Find and try out a new fishing or boating spot each month.
That is a great one.
Yeah, different fishing spots feature various types of habitat and structure will encourage you to be a better, more versatile angler.
Here's one of the problems that we have as anglers, and we're going to focus on anglers for a minute. Because we don't get to go out very often, we tend to go out to the places that we're comfortable with.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll grab our gear, we'll grab our buddy, and we'll plan on this one day, and then poof, it rains or something happens, you don't get to go. You don't think of trying a new place where maybe it's not raining or maybe it's a little more cover from the rain. So that's a great example, to try something different.
I just thought those were 5 very obtainable. And
absolutely.
I mean, every one of them inspired me to go, yeah, I want to do that. It's a great bite-sized chunks to pick it off. And let me give credit. This comes from the takemefishing.org blog, our friends over there at Take Me Fishing.
Yeah, that's a great blog.
Sure,
man, that's Mike.
I'm saving that one. I emailed it to myself because I want to dig in and make you proud, Rodney.
That's you're the man. You make me proud every day, Mike Coy. That's awesome. So that's, you know what, and some of that is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about, I hooked my boat up. You might see. We'll get into and
because we're going to take a break here real quick. But you had I saw you post. It was a video of you. I don't know. You were holding something hot.
Yeah.
You're burning your
I
hands.
was definitely holding something
But
hot.
I was fascinated because I'd never seen anything like this material before. But you were fashioning some way of anchoring a new. I about called it toy, but I know
bracket.
gadgets for us are toys.
Exactly.
A way of attaching it. So what was that you were?
What it was is actually it's a depth finder. This is actually an upgraded model that you would put on a boat. You put it on a flats boat or something of that nature, a bass boat. Usually, you would put something like this on the very front of your boat where your trolling motor is. It's a little bit more mobile. It's a little bit smaller screen that you'd want on the front of your boat.
But the bottom line is you put it on a canoe.
I put it on a canoe.
And this device tells you all kinds of good, juicy information.
Man, I can't wait to get into this.
All right, we'll get right back to it.
Gnarly barley, come see why the whole world's singing. No,
What are you doing?
dude, I am writing a song for Gnarly Barley.
I see that, but first of all, I didn't realize you could sing. Second of all, why don't you just tell the people how great the Gnarly Barley is, give them the address, and move on with the show?
Dude, have you ever had their flatbread? Their jalapeno flatbread with the cream cheese on top, the chicken, and the special sauce on it. Holy moly. No, wait a minute. Obviously, by the look on your face, you ain't never had that big time fiesta. Jalapenos, provolone cheese, tomatoes, red onions, and again, fiesta lime.
Okay, that's it. Shut up, Jeff. We're out of here.
Are you serious?
Come on, we're out of here.
Truly one of Orlando's hidden gems, the Gnarly Barley offers a contemporary selection of whites and brews, serving a mind-blowing selection of craft beers and original mouth-watering menu creations. The Gnarly Barley and its incredibly accommodating staff have created a place that really is difficult to put into words. So do yourself a huge favor and come see why people are singing the praises of the Gnarly Barley.
Oh my goodness.
I told you that big time fiesta.
That is phenomenal. I totally get why you're trying to write a song for that.
Not as simple as you thought, huh?
No. Okay, check this out. Gnarly barley.
Come see why the whole town's singing
gnarly barley.
Located at 7431 South Orange Avenue in Orlando, Florida.
116,000 foreclosures in the state of Florida alone as of January 2014. A quality contractor is critical to the process of returning a foreclosed house back into a home. Let me introduce you to Phillips Contracting Incorporated. They are Florida State certified and an approved REO repair vendor for both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. PCI currently provides multi-level services to realtors, banks, asset managers, and private homeowners. Although they specialize in dealing with REO property repairs, they are a design-build company.
Here at PCI, we pride ourselves on professional, high-quality work. Our clients know that we're not your typical contractor. We're proud to be reliable, trustworthy partners with you. Our repair coordinators are ready to communicate with you honestly and quickly about every aspect of your project. We're here to say yes to our clients.
Phillips Contracting services Florida from Orlando to Miami. Whether you're looking for a quote, repair updates, or just want to talk business, give them a call at 941-483-3800.
Welcome back. You are watching and listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers, the man himself.
You are riding the Rodney Rogers train.
The train, the non-stop, all expense paid train, where you will watch for free.
You kids in the back, settle down.
For the next half hour. Sit down. Don't make me come back there. Don't make me come back there. I am Rodney Rogers, and we're going to be talking. Actually, we're talking, been him-hawing a little bit about some stuff. We're going to be talking about electronics for our next segment. And what we mean is what we was talking about before commercial break was we are talking about. I put a depth finder. Now, this is not just any depth finder. It's a little bit of everything. Let me tell you kind of why I went this route.
That's what I was going to ask. Give us an overview.
If you remember where you plotted, we went to Boca Grande.
Yep.
We're back in Boca Grande. We're paddling through the mangroves. What we realized is all we had was our phones. We didn't really have a GPS. We're kind of going by our phones and looking at the maps. And I said, man, what we need on this canoe is a GPS kind of So I've been doing some research and I've been looking for that machine, basically a depth finder that gives us, the depth, the sonar. I wanted everything I could possibly get out of this thing. I wanted color screen, and then I found this guy. This is a Lowrance Elite 4, which is the HDI plotter and sonar. It's fish finding. It has mapping capabilities. I can put the disc in and chart everywhere we go, which I got with you right away.
It'll
and asked,
track you.
yes, it'll track our whole route. We can go back the way we came, or we can find a new way out. So this thing tracks every inch, and I can log on there. I can put, save point, and tell you what we caught, where we
Sure.
caught it, and all the conditions. Another good thing is it gives me temperature, tells me
Yeah.
water temperature, and that's very important when you're fishing lakes.
I've seen you use that before. You've got a handheld one that you just
Yes.
point at the water and tell you the
Exactly,
temperature,
it
right?
gives me.
But this is the same type of thing, just
This
built
is the
into
same
the
thing,
unit.
just a little bit deeper in the water. Tells me what the temperature is. Fish feed and move via temperature. This is the time of year when they're starting to, up north things are starting to get colder, so their metabolism slows down a little bit. In the state of Florida, we come into what we call a second spawn. We have the spring spawn, and then we have the fall spawn, basically the fall winter. And once that water temperature reaches that 60, 55, 60 degrees, 65 degrees, the fish will go into spawning mode for the second time. So it's good to know that average temperature of the lakes, I hit them as cold as 69 degrees and as warm as 77. So each lake has its own, let's just, for sake, lack of a better word, has its own atmosphere. It'd be like going to another state,
Sure.
In comparison to you and I. If we went up north, it'd be a little colder. Well, these, depending on the size, the clarity of water, what's in the water, what kind of foliage that we have, that this thing heats up and cools down faster, dissipates heat faster, or holds, the heat longer, or chills faster. So all these things take into play. So this machine helped me in a lot of ways this weekend. One is by charting the bottom, by using the sonar, I could see what the structure is on the bottom. One, I could tell how deep it was, and that's important. That's important. That's important when you're fishing lakes and you want to see what that bottom structure, that substrate is at the very bottom of the lake. You want to know if it's rocks.
And you also, I'm assuming, get some sort of picture of the landscape. I mean, as far as
You hit it right
up
on the
and
head.
down, or whether it's just flat out, nothing there.
And that's the key point that you'll see on this plotter. Now I paid $199 for this thing. I got $100 off. It
Yeah.
usually runs anywhere from $249 to $299, depending on where you can find it. Bass Pro had it on sale. One of the selling features was that I can look at all three screens. I can look
yeah.
at my GPS,
See that?
my color sonar, and then my actual sonar. Now,
Back up 1 second, because my question has to do with the install as well.
mhm.
The video you posted on Facebook was you basically mounting it, which, number one, I thought just that process was fascinating because I've never seen any material like that.
Right, okay.
You had a plastic kind of material that you heated up,
Yeah.
formed it.
So let's go back to that point, the starting point.
Yeah.
Basically, I posted a video, and what it is, it's Kydex.
Kydex. K?
Kydex,
Okay.
which is Kydex. They make a lot of stuff out of it. Gun holsters is definitely knife cases, knife holsters. They make a lot of it, and you can get it in just about any color, shape, form. You can get it to look like carbon. You can get it to look like steel. I mean, it's literally one of the most, and I've been using it for years. It's one of the most versatile plastics. And basically, what you do is you heat it up in an oven. You cut what you need, and you heat it up in an oven to about 250 to 300 degrees. Now, the warmer you get it, the more pliable it is. It's just like a piece of paper.
So how did you heat it?
I got a little oven that I bought just for this Kydex, because most everything I deal with is on a 1 foot scale. If it's 1 foot by 1 foot or 6 inches by 4 inches, and this piece that I made for this this bracket, I mean, it basically what I did was I took a piece of paper and I kind of folded it to what I wanted it to look like. And I cut the paper, to get, okay, this is be about what I want.
Yeah.
I went to this Kydex and I cut me out. Now I've got several sheets of this. I've got 6 by 6 sheets of it, 6 foot by 6 foot.
Wow.
And I've got, this is
Can
3/16.
you buy it like at a Home Depot or something?
No, you can't buy this at Home Depot. You have to order it, or you can. If you say, Rodney, I want a piece of this, you can order it through us. We have 12 by 12 pieces that we can sell, or if you have a specific. But you can see all the little
A lot of gun holsters.
gun holsters is their main thing. I mean, it's just.
Well, what was interesting is I saw you doing it. My brain started wheeling, going, "Wow, what could I use that for?
Oh,
All these
man.
things you could use it
Yes,
for." It's
that's
like,
exactly
they got
right.
knife sheaths and gun holsters.
I mean,
and-
it's endless. I mean, iPad holders, book holders. I mean, it's just snuff holder. Look at that snuff holder Kydex. I mean, you're one of them snuffers. So I mean, it literally, it's only bound by your imagination. It really is.
so once it hardens,
So once it hardens,
it's
it's solid.
will it what would it take to break it? How
It-
durable is it?
It is extremely durable. I mean, at I made the second bracket for my actual my transducer, so I wanted them to be able to snap on and off. And I made the second bracket so tight around the thing that it was very hard to get on and off.
Okay.
And I ended up I mean, I extended it and snapped it off before.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
But once it's hardened, it's rigid, and you can screw to it, and bolt
you
to
can,
it, and
you
everything
can,
else.
You can absolutely, you can screw, you
Which
can
is-
thread it and put threaded bolts in it. You can
Which is
rivet.
exactly what you did with your Lawrence.
Exactly what I did with the Lawrence. So basically, I just folded it out, and you can see in the video where I just kind of hold it still in place for a few minutes,
It was brilliant because, like you said, then you can slide it.
and that was my key. I wanted to be able to slide it up and down and adjust it to where I wanted it. And I tell you what, Mike, I absolutely couldn't be more pleased with what we did and what we had there. I mean,
I was
it was
quite impressed because you did it real time on camera, basically, and that was
and,
pretty,
and that was my first try.
yeah, it was cool.
And I use that bracket right now. And then what I did was I did the transponder the same way. I decided what depth I wanted it.
Well, that was my next question. What are the pieces to this? What you have up top is obviously your display, but there's got to be
There's a connection in the back that goes to your battery.
okay.
It's hot and cold. And you don't need no giant battery. I bought a lawnmower battery,
Okay.
$32,
Okay,
not a $100 deep cycle battery.
got it.
I'll charge this thing once every 2 or 3 months because it doesn't take any power to run this thing. I mean, if you had 12 volts worth of D cell batteries, you could probably run it
Gotcha.
for a whole day if you
Okay.
had to. So it doesn't take a lot of power.
So where'd
to
you
run
put the battery? Just
It's
under
just
this-
right up under the seat.
Okay.
I got it in the same. Basically, what it is, I went to Walmart, and bought it like a little tote, and it holds the battery, the transponder, and the
Okay.
everything. I put the actual screen in a little. I made a bag for it,
Okay.
and I just put everything in that tote, and I just carry it with me everywhere I go.
And then you've got the
The transponder actually has a long cable that hooks to the other side. So on the back of it, you have two connections: one for your transponder, and one for your hot and cold wire. Now you have other accessories that you can get with this thing, and it has wiring for those other accessories.
this transponder is what's sending out the sonar.
The transducer is what sends out the sonar.
And where's that mounted on the
That
canoe?
that's mounted on a bracket and it goes actually in the water.
It does.
Yeah, so that needs to be on the side of the canoe,
Okay.
and then actually it got dark that night, so I really couldn't.
Okay.
As
Yeah,
you can see, the last part of that video
I
is
did
like
see
it's
that,
just
yeah.
me trying to rush.
I thought it was my eyes going
Yeah,
bad.
no, it just started getting dark, and I was like, man, I want to get this, finished product in there before.
So there is another part that actually goes in the water, and that's what sends out the signal and does
and
the sonar.
that's
Okay.
exactly, and that's what
That was
sends
my
out
question.
the signal. So, so you get that. I mean, it snaps on, it snaps off. You can move it back and forth. I can move that transponder, that transducer, to the center of the boat, and it literally covers at the angle
I gotcha.
from the front to the back.
Sure. Okay.
In 20 feet of water, we cover 30-foot.
Yeah, because the depth of the water makes a difference, obviously, because it's a downward cone.
Exactly.
So the deeper the water,
Exactly.
the more you're getting down
And with this sonar, I can look on there and say, okay, we have a stump at the bottom, and if you look at the black part of it,
there. Mm-hmm.
with the right hand side, you can see a ball of bait fish, and on the left hand side, you see just colors and stuff like that.
I think it's a girl. It looks like yeah.
It's like
oh
a-
no, it's not. I
or
see
is
that.
it- yeah,
it's not a girl,
sonogram. It's-
Sorry. Yeah.
So, in on the left side, you can tell the substrates. It's basically once you get your colors down, you kind of see enough of them. You know what the colors, rocks or muddy ground,
Sure.
or and there again, it depends on how quick the signal comes back to your transducer. But on the sonar side, it literally will see a stick sticking out of the ground and a fish around it, almost
amazing.
like they're looking down, taking a picture.
So the view is top down.
The view is exactly top down. Now you can get these things with side sonars. So if you're moving along some cattails, you side sonar, you can see
Okay.
the fish waiting under these cattails, and you can cast to those fish.
Okay.
And it's just, you can get as elaborate.
Now, is this image? I've never actually used one of these. Is this image that you're viewing on here real time, or is it static shots?
Real time.
If the fish moves, you see it move.
If fish moves, it goes out of your screen.
Wow.
I mean, it just shoots. It's constantly shooting signals back and forth. So now, if you're sitting there and it's sitting there, you'll see that fish sit there the whole time. We had bluegills that kept coming up under the boat, and they kept showing up on my screen, and I could see them, and I could see them on my sonar. So I mean, it was like super cool.
How much fish identification can you? I mean, do you have a general guess because of
Yeah,
size? You start getting used to that.
Yeah, once you see a lot on there, and you get I mean, you can kind of get a size. You won't know species of fish. You'll just know that's a big fish.
Yeah.
Or that's a bigger fish
Right.
compared to a
Okay.
school small fish. So, and a lot of times you'll see a bait school.
Or
like
that's a freaking gator down there.
Or that's a
that would be
nelly.
cool.
That would be cool. See this big long line that just keeps moving, and you go, "Hey, paddle to shore,
Yeah,
Roy."
you better take a you better take a screenshot or grab a photo of that once you see that.
So this was definitely. I mean, I posted on our Facebook. I posted basically the shot that I watched most of the day, which is the side by side.
Okay, I'm looking at that. Yeah.
The sonar, the color sonar, and then the actual sonar view. That's the shot I looked at most of the day right there. And the reason is, let's see if we can
Look
zoom.
at that thing mounted. I'm just impressed with the
Oh, I
mount.
know. You know
it's
what?
the basic, simple things that get me. It's so cool.
It just
It almost
I
looks
love
factory.
It does look factory. I mean, if I would have spent a little more time with it, it could have been a lot nicer. And I may get one day where I can just build a real nice one. But it works out perfect, man. That thing is so light.
Well, you just did it in no time. It was amazing how well you did something that was just
Literally
sturdy
took
and,
me 10 minutes.
yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it just once it got in my head, I knew what I wanted it to look like.
It's having the know-how and the right tools.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just and going, man, I can do something with this Kydex.
So you've got depth. You can obviously see motion and see fish in there. You got temperature.
You got temperature. You've got structure. Structure is real key, and this will determine what bait you're going to use. If you're going to use a spinner bait, if you look down and you see a grassy bottom, like you see on the right side of the screen on the sonar side, you see these little structure. You see the gray areas,
Yes.
and believe it or not, that's floating debris. There was a lot of dead lily pads,
Okay.
basically suspending right in the middle of the water. They were just, they were kind of waterlogged. They weren't floating and they weren't sinking, and you could see a lot of that. And believe it or not, fish love that kind of stuff.
It's
So-
structure.
It's structure.
Yeah.
So that told me that I could run my frog in the middle of the lake. And that was 9 feet deep. You can see at the very top left-hand corner.
So 9.3, that's the footage.
That's 9.3
What's
inches.
the 72.9? I'm assuming temperature.
That's my temperature.
Probably not your speed.
No,
Okay,
it does tell me
okay,
my
okay.
speed as well. We drifted on average about a half a mile an hour.
That's interesting.
0.58. Yeah, it was really awesome because on your drift, if you're watching your drift and you're moving at about a half a mile an hour and you're just drifting lures and you're just letting them sit out there on this air drift, this wind drift, and they're hitting, and all of a sudden you speed up to 1 mile an hour and they stop. So you go, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be at a half a mile an hour.
Yeah.
So all these little things just from this one little machine will definitely help you be successful. And I mean, it's
Now the first day, so obviously the first day out with the new Lowrance Elite 4, did it help you catch fish that day?
yes, absolutely.
You think it did?
I think it did because here's why I think it helped us in the ponds that we went to. One is one pond that we went to that I've been wanting to take a depth finder in because I don't know how deep it is. I would catch fish randomly on the edges. It told me that the average depth of the lake was only 12 feet when I'm thinking it's 25 or 30.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I wouldn't fish, in the middle because I'm going 20, 30 foot.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have a lure to go down that deep, and I don't have a patience to let one sink.
Mm-hmm.
Once I found out it was only 12 feet deep, we started fishing in the middle of the lake, and that's where Nick caught his big 6-pound bass right off the bat.
Really?
I mean, we go, dude, we can fish topwater here. It's only 12 feet. And a bass will make that commitment to run 12 feet, but not 25, 30 feet.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, it helped us in that situation. Hey, Rodney, how deep is it? Dude, it's only 11 and a half feet deep. Awesome. Top water. Splash. And
Wow.
I meant to bring my GoPro because we got that on that.
No, you
got
didn't.
I got it, man.
Dude, I'm so glad because I was thinking I've seen all these pictures, and we just need those little. I want some little snippets because I want to
This-
do an intro to our YouTube page. You
You
know,
can
and
actually see me looking at the depth,
Okay.
communicating to Nick, and because the field of view on a GoPro, I've
sure.
got me and him,
That's good
and
stuff.
he,
You got him snagging some.
I got him pile driving that big fish.
Oh, that's great, dude.
And you know what's funny is, I put this on my head first thing. After that, the battery heated up on the inside, fogged in the whole case, and that was literally the only good footage we got. The rest was just shot.
By the way, that's a great look for you. Is that GoPro on your head?
Or did you get
It
a
works
picture
for
of
you.
it?
I don't know. See, you need those anti-fog strips to stick inside there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other you can use, but they actually sell them for the
Oh,
GoPro that
okay,
stick
okay.
inside there.
That's the first time it's ever did it on me.
Yeah.
It's probably because the temperature was a little low that morning and 100 factors, but we got that fish. I looked and I went, man, I got to get this to Mike. I know we can do
That's cool.
something with this.
That's great, dude.
So
I'm happy
yeah,
about
so
that.
and if you ask me, we wouldn't have done that if I didn't know the
Mhm.
depth. If I didn't look right away and go, dude, it's only 12 feet, we can fish here.
So it gave you information that obviously. Did you change anything up based on what you were seeing off of the screen?
I changed my bait tactic totally when I saw what was on the screen compared to fishing in the middle of the lake.
Okay.
When you fish, when you see your structure visually on the surface, you can do a couple things. You can fish worm, topwater, frog. You can fish according to that structure. It's the structure that you don't see is where you change your tactics. and
That
your
makes
bait.
sense. Sure.
When you get out in the middle of the lake and you see you can see, like in here, you see a flat bottom right there, and all of a sudden you see a little hump. A lot of times those fish will conglomerate around that hump, and then okay, one, I can put a drop shot down there. I can run a crankbait right over their heads. I got a crankbait that'll dive 10 feet, and I can go right over their heads and get them to come up and commit to that crankbait. So yeah, it will help you pick which bait you're going to fish with.
I could totally see that because on the side, when you're closer to the banks, you see the trees and the foliage or the structure that's going down on the water. So you can assume that a certain distance from the shore,
Absolutely.
that's continuing. But in the middle of the lake, you're just blind.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So
just
you're going to
really
assume
don't
that
know.
it's,
Yeah, and I can move this thing.
It's like putting night vision goggles on in the dark.
Voila, you hit it right on the head. I can move this thing straight to a kayak. So I don't need, I can just unscrew it from this bracket. The kayaks have built-in brackets. I can put it right on my kayak.
Yeah.
Once I get a kayak, and then just go from there. So I mean, this thing for the price and the legitimate, legitimate. What am I trying to say?
You work it out. Sound it out. Sound it out, Rodney.
It's a legitimate piece of equipment that I think it's definitely, for somebody that fishes out of the canoe as much as I do, I think it's going to be a real go-getter for me. I had one on my canoe years ago, but it was one of the old $75 ones, and it would show a fish, like the little fish icon when they saw fish, small, big, large, but it really didn't give you any indication, no sonars, no. And I realized that, man, I want something. If I'm going to spend that money again, I'm going to really get something worth, that's going to help me out in a lot of different ways. And this right here was definitely that piece of equipment. I'm so glad
they have made some improvements.
Oh my gosh. And for the price, oh my gosh. I mean, 5 years ago, that thing would have been $600.
What is that? 6 or 8 inches tall? How big is that?
It's about 6 inches.
Okay.
It literally is about 6 inches and about 4 inches wide. So simple. I mean, literally, if you have any on there, there's a pages button. You pick the page, it brings up this whole, round thing, the pages. You scroll to the left, and you see the page you want, and you pick it.
Cool.
Voila.
Very cool.
If you say, I caught a fish here, I see structure, you just push enter, and it automatically enters a waypoint.
I'm curious as to how it saves the data off onto the card that comes with it.
Me too. I've not played with that aspect of it yet, but I will.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what all it can save on
what
there.
we can get off of it and all that good stuff. I agree 100%. So yeah, man, that's definitely super duper added piece of equipment. I'm really excited about.
Can't wait to check that out.
So
I can spin it.
My key. Oh, check that out. That's pretty awesome. I can't wait to get it in the salt water. I want to get it on a kayak just offshore,
So that'll, I mean, obviously go the depth. Is there a depth limit to this particular unit?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. That'll
Yeah,
do it.
Yeah, 1,000 feet. Now it gets a little hazy at 1,000 feet. Your optimal depth for this machine with the transducer at 200 megahertz. I know that's a lot to talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've got the biggest one you can get with this thing. It can 600 feet effectively, but which you can get a kayak in 600 feet of water pretty easy. You know, the farther south Florida you go, you know, you don't have to go out. You go out
Yeah.
2 miles, you're in 300-400 feet
Yeah.
of water easy. So,
That could be fascinating.
because I really want to start getting in those offshore kayak tournaments, and I'm trying to add this equipment a little at a time. And it might not be this year, it
Yeah.
might be next year,
Sure.
but eventually it's one
Well,
of my
something
goals.
like that unit specifically is something that, like you say, easily can transport to whatever vehicle
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, technically, you could build a dock. I mean, you could get this thing to just sit right off a dock, or
Sure.
if you're ice fishing out of a hole.
Mm.
It's not really the ideal ice fishing thing, but you can do it. You have to make a little bigger hole, but it's definitely. Whew, oh, man, I probably talked that thing to death.
That's fine.
Certainly, and it did teach me that I didn't realize there was a temperature difference that big of a difference, anywhere from 7 to 10 degrees difference in these ponds, even though they weren't even a half a mile from each other. We went to one that we literally hopped over 3 or 4 ponds right in a row, and it literally changed 5 degrees. Now, 5 degrees to you and I is like, oh man, that's a little
Yeah.
chilly. 5 degrees to a fish could be where the oxygen's at. I mean, there's a whole nother ball game. It could be not catching fish compared to catching fish. So temperature, I think, is definitely a important factor when it comes to that. Definitely an important factor.
Well, I will put that up on your fishing hole tab
Sweet.
on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors, so
I
people
like
can
it.
see your secret spot. Your secret spot.
I'll give them away.
All right.
So there you have it, Mike Coy.
What else you got coming up? Well, obviously, we got chili this weekend.
We got chili this weekend. Come out and see us if you're
Chili is-
listening. Definitely come out and see us. We got some really cool stuff I hope to have there this weekend. Just in case I don't have it, I'm not really going to talk about it.
Okay. Smart, probably.
I'm shooting for it. We'll see what happens. I'm working my butt off to make it happen. We got the chili cook-off. I'm still working on the dive trip. We got a couple locations in mind. I'm going to sit down with you and we'll hash something out for the first of spring.
Okay.
And then if we get that, I'd like to decide pretty early. That way we can get people signed up and get ready for their certification so they can take their online class, get the small stuff out of the way. Because I'm going to do my deep water as well.
Cool.
So that'll be fun.
Let me also remind people that the audio version of this is basically an audio podcast we're doing. We just put cameras on and broadcast it live on the air. But
Just
you can
for the
watch,
halibut.
you can go to the Rodney Rogers Outdoors website and listen to the audio version, or download, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. It is there as well. Or you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the video playback from tonight's episode and all of the others prior to episode number 53, which is tonight.
First episode of 2015. I hope everybody had an amazing holidays.
Yeah.
It is gone. It's over.
Here we go. We're in full swing, 2015.
I'm excited. Totally excited.
I love it.
There'll be a lot of cool stuff happening. Fingers crossed. Good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise.
Yep. Good luck to you at the chili cook-off.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And if I don't see you this weekend,
All right. I hope I do, but if I don't,
we will see you eventually.
someday.
And my mama said 18,437 times, and I'll say it a million. You kids get outside and stay.
What?
I said, you kids get outside. Way outside.